Sorry, we were muted. We're live. Welcome back, you guys. Nice to see you again. I am your host, Keith. You're a man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and a bit of entertainment. Sweet, as per usual. First things first, if you guys are watching this when it's not alive, I take about 10 minutes or so to start the live just to give people a chance to filter in, pour themselves a glass of wine or something, roll up a little oregano, you know what I mean? So, thanks for being here. If you're new, we have it's a cool ass channel, you guys. If you're new and this is the first video that you're seeing of Man of Letters, it's dope. You should definitely check it out. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we release stuff. Tons of cool shit here. We do live readings, and commentaries. I have really well done audiobooks, the Kybalion, Emerald Tablets, some will and self-recognition stuff, law of attraction things, spirituality, philosophical insights, a bunch of cool shit. It's a nice little letters twist. It's dope. I think you guys will like it. So, that being said, let me see if I can sort of get my life together here. It's been a pretty busy day, so bear with me. I hope you guys are doing good. Tonight is chapter. I didn't put the title of the chapter, did I? It's Kybalion. We just did the law of vibration last time. So after the law of vibration, I believe the correspondence vibration, I believe it's either polarity or rhythm. I want to say it's polarity, which is a fucking phenomenal one. You guys are really going to enjoy. The reason why this chapter is so important, let me just give you a preface. So the reason why this chapter is so important is because all paradoxes may be reconciled. It's taken straight from the book. All paradoxes may be reconciled. We see how and why opposites exist. We see love and hate. We see hate and fear, or courage and fear. We see high tides and low tides, the swing between the poles. We see how opposites are the same exact thing, only to varying degree, which is something I use a lot in my teachings on this channel because it's a way to rise above the swing of the pendulum, because life kind of swings back and forth, you know? It swings back and forth to and fro. We can't stop the swing. We can't. The all can, but we can't stop the swing. But we can do is we can rise above the swing, so that this swing kind of swings underneath us, right? Sort of a witness instead of a victim of a situation, or not even a victim, but a participant. Not that there's anything wrong with being a participant. It's just that with the knowledge in this whole book, but really this chapter is about choosing the role that you want to play. Is about consciously putting yourself in situations that are most alignment with you, so that when it does swing and you're caught on the swing, that you'll in fact be swinging in a direction that you want to be going. Imagine someone's pushing you on an actual swing, right? Is it going to be easier to push someone as they're going down or push someone as they're slamming towards you? Like most people are just, sometimes they're pushing with the swing, sometimes they're pushing against the swing, sometimes they're not pushing at all, sometimes they're getting pushed by the swing. And knowledge from this chapter kind of helps us see the swing for what it really is and see opposites for what they really are. Opposites are the same exact thing to varying degree. Hot and cold, same exact thing to varying degree. And then we sort of become the chess player instead of the chess piece. And if we decide to be the chess piece, then again, it's a decision that we make consciously. I want to be the knight this time. I want to be the pawn this time. I want to be the queen this time, right? We make the decision to be the pieces and know how the pieces work so that we're not bitching and moaning the whole time, playing the woe is me card, but sort of making the necessary adjustments as we go along. So let's hope we're actually learning about the love polarity, and I didn't just give that whole spiel for no reason. My phone's a little bit broken. Kybalion index, crystal links. Links, buddy, not lakes. Links. Come on now. I know you're tapping into every conversation I have because I talk about skydiving, and the next day I'm getting fucking ads on my Instagram about skydiving. I didn't ever research that shit. I just talked about it. Next thing you know, I'm getting ads. So I know you're tapping in. You can give me a decent voice to text every once in a while. Oh my God. I broke my phone and some of the buttons don't work, unfortunately. Kybalion, not Kundalini. This is just getting ridiculous. Who wants to donate to the Patreon for Kunalian? This is Kybalion, you bastard. Fucking my Y button is broken. And Kybalion is such a strange word that it's not, Google's not helping me out. Kybalion, Hermes Trismegistus, crystal links.
Here is some information about Kybalion.
Nailed it. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm fucking pulling it right now. Sacred texts. Here we go. Okay. Not chapter 1. Chapter 2. Chapter 3. I'm not even risking trying to go to the home page because my phone might just shit itself. Chapter 7. Damn, we read all this shit already. We're killing it, you guys. We've been reading so much. I haven't lit my candles yet. This is readings by candlelight. I'll light the candles in a second. Give me 2 shakes of a lion's tail. Chapter 9 was vibration. Chapter 10 is polarity. Dope. Nailed it. Okay. Where are we? Where are we? Whoops. Sorry, let me turn off the volume. Cool. Let's see, we got Magic Lotus, Metaphysical Cosmo Nursing Student. Hello, I haven't seen you in here before. Everyone say hello to the Metaphysical Cosmo Nursing Student. Too sweet. What up? Did you get your package, Too Sweet? Did you get it? I was hoping. No, I sent it out Friday and they don't deliver today. Oh no, today's Monday. Did you get it? Pais, oregano out. Get that mo trucking oregano out. I haven't even done anything yet. I haven't lit my candles, gotten my frankincense resin burning, fucking pack the oregano. Thanks, campaign. I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. Especially Erie 17. Thanks, I appreciate that. Pineapple juice, what up? Oh, I'm so glad. Pineapple juice, what's your real name? What did I send you? Did I send you what did I send out? The dream tinctures? Did I send you the ManofLetters dream juice? What up? Shout out. Glad you like it, campaign. So, campaign, if you've read my book, you know damn well that I pulled everything from the, well, not everything. I pulled the heart, the skeleton from the Kybalion with updated scientific facts and modern philosophies and social constructs and paradigms and shit, and just applied them to the principles. So glad you like it. In other words, Gianni, hello. Chakras and chasers, hola. Cool. So with that being said, I seem to have misplaced the fire. Oh, that's a bummer. We've got some homegrown oregano tonight. What up from the homie? We are not starting yet, you guys. If you're just tuning in, as per usual, we don't crack these things off right away. We give people a chance to filter and a chance for me to get my life together. Because there's just constantly 1,000 things going on at any given time. And yeah, it's just nice to be able to chill. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Is this blocking the view? Are you chilling right there? Ah, shit, that's too much. But you guys been good? You guys been having a good night? I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to read the Law of Polarity. It's like, it wasn't my favorite one. I don't think it is my favorite one, but it's my most, what's the word I'm looking for? My most, fuck's the word I'm gonna try to use? Referenced. It's my most, debatably my most referenced principle. It's just so fucking relevant in almost anything that comes up, especially with the direction of spirituality today, and conversations about the ego, and conversations about what's right, what's wrong, what direction do I go? Am I being spiritual? Am I not being spiritual? Like, woe is me kind of thing. Damn, I'm out of gas. It's good. You guys are gonna, if you guys haven't read the Kybalion or my book, I think, I'm hoping that you'll get a lot of use out of this one. Oh, pineapple juice, you got the resin. I'm about to light this shit up too. You should get your resin ready. Wouldn't that be cool if we just had like the readings by candlelight? We all lit our frankincense resin and burned our oregano and poured our glasses of gin, which I haven't re-upped on yet. Brittany Broussard. Hi, how's it going? Good evening. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. John Smith, what up? Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Welcome. Everyone say what up to John Smith. He's the fucking homie, and he helps me out a lot. John Smith helps me out a lot. Hey, take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. Glad to hear it. Trying to get this coal lit. I promise, when I get this coal lit, we will start the reading. If I'm taking too long, just let me know. I'll hurry it up. Because don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? These calls just take days to get going. Lola. I've always liked the name Lola because it reminded me of Bugs Bunny's lady friend from Space Jam, Lola. She was cool. My sign is an Aries. Aries sun, Pisces moon, and Aquarius rising. Fuck. My cold is almost good, you guys. Damn, you guys. I know I keep hitting you guys with the self promo, but I just distilled white sage for the first time. It's in bloom right now, so I didn't grab the leaves. I grabbed the blooms, which is like twice as concentrated than the leaves, as far as like um, the essential oil compounds, like the beneficial compounds in the essential oil is doubled inside the buds than the leaves. And it's season right now. They're all going into bloom. So I distilled mugwort, white sage, and hummingbird sage, which is also in bloom right now. They only bloom for 2 months or so. And I put it all together, and it fucking smells phenomenal. I only came away with enough for 2 little containers, but I liked it so much. I'm probably gonna keep one of them, so I'm only gonna throw one up on the Etsy. But God, it smells. I don't know if you guys have been to the mountains, like Southern California mountains, but it smells like the mountain. You've got the sharpness of the white sage, like that sharp bite of the white sage, and then you have that pineapple sort of sweetness from the hummingbird sage, which is like light years away from the white sage as far as smell goes. And then the mugwort, which is like a super earthy, like wet earth. It smells like wet, like sweet wet earth. Not sweet, sweet, but like musky, sweet wet earth. So stoked on that. But only have one bottle for you guys. For right now. I'll distill some probably tomorrow, maybe. Eleni Selassie. We're reading from the Kybalion, which is written by a person or persons who went by the name Three Initiates, published in, I believe, 1908. Theory has it these 7 laws from the Kybalion were distilled from the Emerald Tablets written by Thoth himself, which is why they go by Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes the thrice born. First was Thoth, and then the Greeks adopted. No, first it was not Thoth; it was a straight up Tahuti. But the Greeks called him Thoth, and then he was later changed to Hermes. The dude with the wings on his feet, and then Hermes Trismegistus. Alchemy, as in led into philosopher's stone and led into gold. That's all hermetics. That's all reworded information so that they didn't get burned at the stake. Like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton actually has his own translation of the Emerald Tablets, believe it or not, which is really fucking cool. You can read Isaac Newton's translation of the Emerald. The Emerald Tablets, which is fucking phenomenal, right? These dudes were all hermeticists. Alchemists and hermeticists are synonymous. They're the same word. It's just right. Alchemists, just pseudonames. But that's what we're reading. We're reading the Kybalion, which is 7 principles that govern all of existence. We've already gone through the mental universe. We've gone through the law of correspondence. We've gone through the law of vibration, which was the last one, and now we are going with the law of polarity. And now that my coal is hot, I have a little dragon's blood frankincense resin that I'm about to throw on the coal and get this bitch popping. Light my candles. Sorry, guys, I've been taking forever to get this started. But patience is a virtue. Oh shit! What did I just drop? Oh fuck! I dropped the resin. Oh no! Bummer. Good thing I'm the goddamn man of letters, and I just have resin pouring out of my ears. All right, here we go. Check it out, you guys. Check it out. I don't know if y'all can see that, but we are officially transporting right now. Metaphysical. I distill. You can see some of the distillation videos on my YouTube channel, but I have a glass distiller, dope ass glass distiller, and I hike my happy ass up the mountain and collect spring water and herbs, bring them back down, pack the herbs inside a glass bowl, boil water. The steam carries the essential oils out of the plant material and distills them, right? Distills the oil, and I collect it. I collect essential oil and hydrosol, which is two different byproducts of steam distillation. And the hydrosol is basically the water version of essential oils. So it's more of the minerals and the smell and trace amounts of essential oil. Does all the same things, all the same skin benefits, hair benefits, aromatherapy benefits. Of course, the smell is the same. It's just the water version compared to the oil version. The oil version is much more concentrated and much stronger. But that's how I make my essential oils. So, and what I do, actually, I'll give you guys a little demo. So this is actually what I distilled today: the white sage, hummingbird sage, and mugwort. So the white sage is Salvia apiana, and then the hummingbird sage is Salvia spathacea, and mugwort is Artemisia. Well, this is Artemisia californica. So mugwort grows all over the world. You guys are familiar with Artemisia vulgaris, which is the European super witchy version of mugwort. But this is Artemisia californica, Californian mugwort. We have our own specific type. All mugworts carry within, or the active compound, the noteworthy active compound is called thujone. All mugwort varieties produce it, and that's what has the. It's a very what's the word? Feminine plant. Like it's good for regulating menstrual cycles and menstrual cramps. It instigates childbirth, so you shouldn't take it if you're pregnant until you're ready to have children and ready to have the baby. It's also good for dream recall, it's clarity, third eye stuff. But I take it, right? So I don't know if you guys can see that, but here's my little glass jar. And I use jojoba oil as a carrier because you can't put this stuff straight on your skin. Otherwise, it some of them they increase the photosensitivity. So if you put essential oil straight on your skin and then go out in the sun, you'll fry your skin with most essential oils. But this is it. This is, can you see that? And that's how I make my essential oils for y'all. Now you know. All right, we're gonna start it. You guys ready? You guys ready to start the Kybalion? Sorry, it's like 20 minutes in and we've just been bullshitting this whole time. Spilled. Oh yeah, no, I'm not infusing. Infusing is like the shortcut way. We're straight up steam distilling this plant material. Thank you, Mega Flare Mike. Super glad. I'm glad because I fucking want it to be cool. I want it to make an impression. So that it is makes me happy. Well, now. Greetings, Philip. Sweet coo-coo-ca-choo. We all back to the big old blue. Talk to me. You guys ready? You guys ready to do this? Let's get poppin', Sir Smith says. Cool. Got that oregano. Who wants to buy me a Gandalf pipe? Okay. Greetings, Malia. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. You came at a perfect time. We are just about to start. Okay. Pulling up the text as we speak. Chapter 10. Ladies and gentlemen and aliens, gods and goddesses, fucking sprites and nymphs and fairies and shit, Sasquatches and chupacabras, Pleiadians and Arcturians, reptilians, Nordics, and everything in between. I welcome you to Readings by Candlelight. For yours truly, Keith, you're a man of letters. Tonight we are reading the Kybalion, written by 3 initiates, 1908. Chapter 10. The Law of Polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. I hate to do this to you guys, but I might go get some water because, of course, see, what I'm fucking saying. It's always something. It's always something. Just two seconds. I gotta get a glass of water. Had quite the introduction there, and then I just bailed. Typical Aries. My bad. But we are back. Okay. Carrying on. The great fourth Hermetic principle, the principle of polarity, embodies the truth that all manifested things have two sides, two aspects, two poles, a pair of opposites, with manifold degrees between the two extremes. The old paradoxes which have ever perplexed the minds of men are explained by an understanding of this principle. Man has always recognized something akin to this principle, and has endeavored to express it by such sayings, maxims, and aphorisms as the following: everything is and isn't at the same time. All truths are but half truths. Every truth is half false. There are two sides to everything. There is a reverse side to every shield, etc., etc., etc. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the difference between things seemingly diametrically opposed to each other is merely a matter of degree. It teaches that the pairs of opposites may be reconciled, and that thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but different in degree, and that the universal reconciliation of opposites is effected by a recognition of this principle of polarity. The teachers claim that illustrations of this principle may be had on every hand, and from an examination into the real nature of anything. They begin by showing that spirit and matter are but the two poles of the same thing, the intermediate planes being merely degrees of vibration. That's important. They show that the all and the many are the same, the difference being merely a matter of degree of mental manifestation. Thus, the law and laws are two opposite poles of one thing. Likewise, principle and principles, infinite mind and finite mind. So far, we're just getting hit heavy with just the straight up nuts and bolts, which is why I love the Kybalion so. It's just nuts and bolts. It's raw. It's the formation. It's the things that everything else rests on. And so far, we've gotten the gist of polarity. So let's continue. Then, passing on to the physical plane, they illustrate the principle by showing that heat and cold are identical in nature, the differences being merely a matter of degrees. The thermometer shows many degrees of temperature, the lowest pole being called cold, the highest heat. Between these two poles are many degrees of heat or cold. Call them either, and you are equally correct. The higher of the 2 degrees is always warmer, while the lower is always colder. But there is no absolute standard. All is a matter of degree. There is no place on the thermometer where heat ceases and cold begins. It is all a matter of higher or lower vibrations. The very terms high and low, which we are compelled to use, are but poles of the same thing. The terms are relative. So with east and west. Travel around the world in an eastward direction, and then you reach a point which is called west at your starting point. And you return from the westward point. Travel far enough north, and you will find yourself traveling south or vice versa. Light and darkness are poles of the same thing, with many degrees between them. The musical scale is the same, starting with C. You move upward until you reach another C, and so on. The difference is between the two ends of the board being the same, with many degrees between the two extremes. The scale of color is the same, higher and lower vibrations being the only difference between high violet and low red. Vibration, you guys. Large and small are relative. So are noise and quiet. Hard and soft follow the rule. Likewise, sharp and dull, positive and negative are two poles of the same thing with countless degrees between them. There's something I want to mention that this doesn't mention, but I don't think it mentions. So let me make sure I don't. Actually, I'll carry on a little more before I bring it up. Good and bad are not absolute. We call one end of the scale good and the other bad, or one end good and the other evil, according to the use of the terms. A thing is less good than the thing higher in the scale, but that less good thing, in turn, is more good than the thing next below it, and so on. The more or less being regulated by the position on the scale. Where do things exist on the scale, you guys? So this, I'll just say it now. This right here is where so many people pursuing the spiritual path fuck up. This idea of everything is relative. There's the next paragraph. It even says, good and bad are not absolute. We call one end of the scale good, the other bad, yada, yada, yada. While everything is relative and good and bad are not absolute, and while all opposites are equal or are the same thing to varying degree, that does not mean that evil doesn't exist. That does not mean that good doesn't exist. It's not to say that these things have no meaning. Just that it depends upon the scale. Where are we looking at? Each particular moment has a good, has a bad. We sort of collapse the infinite into finite, which again are both one and the same, existing at different ends of the scale. But an exact occurrence, an exact thing that happens to you is good or it is bad, depending upon your route. And this is why I say this. This is why it's important for people in the spiritual world. Have you guys ever noticed how people who are spiritual seem to be directionless? They don't know where to go. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they want to do in life. Everything is a potential to them. And so because everything is a potential to them, they mistake that for being the only way to move forward. It's like a Peter Pan syndrome. So you have the ability to do anything, which is amazing. It's like a child, but it's almost useless because you don't actually choose anything to do. If you don't have a set of rules that say this is bad and this is good, you're not going to actually get anywhere in life. So you have two options. You either accept that you suck at life, right? Or like there's a few options, but what people in the spiritual world tend to do is they either play the woe is me card, or they think, well, I'm just a limitless being and I can do anything and whatever. So I'm just going to kind of bounce around from thing to thing, be kind of like lost and stuff. But as we get older and more defined and more complex, we kind of get more singular, and we have to have a good and a bad set of ways to know where the fuck we're going in life. If you can't say, look back on a day, for example, let's break this down to the microcosm. Today, I distilled plant matter. I added the listing to my Etsy shop. I'm doing a live. I went to the gym and ran, sat in the sauna, got a good chill in, showered, washed my hair today. The fuck else did I do? I chilled, watched some Netflix. I had a good tasty meal today, right? These are all good things. So when I sit down, I go to bed at the end of the day, I had a good day. Now you have 365 good days in a row, you're fucking killing it, right? You're motivated, you're happy, you feel useful, you feel appreciated, you feel accomplished. Like these things are all aspects that drive our will forward. But if you're someone who lives, everything is relative, nothing means anything. There's no such thing as good or bad, or it's all infinite, or it's all a dream, it's all an illusion, like nothing's real. Remember, guys, all truths are half truths. When someone says it's all meaningless, nothing's real, we're in a dream, it doesn't mean anything. It's like, well, yeah, in the big picture of things, it's a dream, but to us, it's a very fucking persistent dream, right? It's real to us. It's fucking real as hell to us. Things are fleeting. Everything is coming and going. Everything is reaching its apex or hitting towards its decline. That's true. But again, when we break it down to the microcosm, we see that there is good in each action and there is bad. And if you're going to deny bad and say it doesn't exist, everything is only good and positive, then again, you're denying a whole other side of existence. It's opposite. It's not to say you shouldn't think positively all the time. It's just, what's it based on, right? Are you thinking positively because you're hoping that the harder you think positively, you'll just somehow make negative shit disappear? Like, that's useless, right? That's one step forward and one step back. One step forward, one step back. And people realize, well, they don't fucking get anywhere in life. But there's something to be said about acknowledging the darkness or acknowledging the bad, facing it, if you will, and saying, that's bad. It's really fucking bad. Like, that habit I have is awful. It's holding me back. I can pretend that the world is wonderful and I have so many blessings and it's just the universe is abundant. I can pretend that all I want. But if I'm pretending that the darkness in me doesn't exist, then I'm going to be shooting myself in the foot at every fucking turn. And that's my bad. That's hard to see, like it's not the easiest to see shit like that. Or to see it when we want to see it. Because there's like not knowing you have problems and darknesses, right? That's the worst of it. And then you realize you have problems, but then you don't know what those problems are. So that's another feat in itself. Then you find what the problem is, and you find, how the fuck do I even fix that? Like, it's rooted in my subconscious, right? So now I have to figure out the problem, fixing the problem. Coming out on the other end, not a miserable word, resentful human at the end of it all, but coming out for the better, coming out to the light. So it's like keeping your eye on the light, right? Keeping your eye on the goal. Like, it's beautiful, it's abundant, it's a blessing, but acknowledging that along the way that there are going to be points where shit is not fucking good and I'm going to have to do something about that to transmute it to good, right? That's a lot different than just pretending life is abundant and just holding that thought and pretending that the opposite side doesn't exist. Because neither one of the fucking sides exists. They're both the same thing, again, to varying degree. Abundance and lack of abundance are the same thing. It's a scale of energy, and you look at this point and you say I'm abundant, and you look on that point and you say I'm not abundant. But that not abundant point to me is like a gold mine to some kid in the Congo. You know what I mean? So I feel like I've been rambling for days. We'll continue with this. And so it is on the mental plane, love and hate are generally regarded as being things diametrically opposed to each other, entirely different, unreconcilable. But we apply the principle of polarity. We find that there is no such thing as absolute love or absolute hate as distinguished from each other. The two are merely terms applied to the two poles of the same thing, beginning at any point of the scale. We find more love or less hate. As we ascend the scale, and more hate or less love as we descend, this being true no matter what from on that point. There are degrees of love and hate, and there is a middle point where like and dislike become so faint that it is difficult to distinguish between them. Courage and fear come under the same rule. The pairs of opposites exist everywhere. Where you find one, you find its opposite. The two poles. This fucking who puts you guys? Who puts epic background, clearly meditative esque music, an hour long, and then throws ads in it? Like, and this YouTube channel has 21,000 subscribers. Fuck that. Who would subscribe to a channel that puts this guy's got 6 ads in this video? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. 2 ads back to back. Hold on. I got this. This is unacceptable. This is just absolutely unacceptable. Give me a moment. Un momento, por favor. Yeah, my computer's not happy right now. Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Cool. Sorry, you guys. Buzzkill, I know. Keith, keep it cool. But fuck that. Get your shit together. Run a decent YouTube channel. Where was I? If you guys are curious, this is called the Daduk flute. It's an Armenian flute. Daduk, Daduk. It's probably my favorite style of all the Middle and Near Eastern flutes because it's really slow and haunting, and I like that slow and haunting shit. It's like kind of pulls at the gut strings a little bit. But I lost my spot. Okay. Where you find one, you find its opposite. And it is this fact that enables the Hermeticist to transmute one mental state into another along the lines of polarization. Things belonging to different classes cannot be transmuted into each other, but things of the same class may be changed. That is, may have their polarity changed. Thus, love never becomes east or west, or red or violet, but it may and often does turn into hate. And likewise, hate may be transformed into love by changing its polarity. Courage may be transmuted into fear and the reverse. Hard things may be rendered soft. Dull things become sharp. Hot things become cold. And so on, the transmutation always being between things of the same kind of different degrees. Take the case of a fearful man. By raising his mental vibration along the line of fear and courage, he can be filled with the highest degree of courage and fearlessness. And likewise, the slothful man may change himself into an active, energetic individual by simply polarizing along the lines of the desired quality. This act of polarizing your mind, by the way, is attributed to your will. This is where your willpower comes in. You have to have extremely potent powers of will to be able to polarize your mind and negate the swing of the pendulum, or to rise above the swing of the pendulum. Um, that's a talk for another time. But the student will recognize that in the mental states, as well as the phenomena of the physical plane, the two poles may be classified as positive and negative, respectively. Thus, love is positive to hate, courage to fear, activity to non activity. And it will also be noticed that even to those unfamiliar with the principle of vibration, the positive pole seems to be of a higher degree than the negative and readily dominates it. The tendency of nature is in the direction of the dominant activity of the positive pole. That is to say, nature tends to go towards the positive side. Um, sort of, and I actually don't know that. I would assume, or know why that's the case. I would assume that positive is going towards oneness, right? Ascending goes closer to oneness, and it does, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm okay with just that answer, but anyhow, um, we're almost done, you guys. We just have 2 chapters left. So, in addition to the changing of the poles of one's own mental states by the operation of the art of polarization, the phenomena of mental influence and its manifold phases shows us that the principle may be extended so as to embrace the phenomena of the influence of mind over that of another, of which so much has been written and taught of late years. When it is understood that mental induction is possible, that is, that mental states may be produced by induction from others, then we can readily see how a certain rate of vibration or polarization of a certain mental state may be communicated to another person, and his polarity in that class of mental states thus changed. Induction. So basically, it's mind control. Um, and it doesn't even have to be mind control in like the kind of woo sense of, like walk off that bridge, and then they walk off the bridge. It doesn't even have to be that kind of mind control. It's just a stronger mind versus a weaker mind. A stronger mind is going to put out much more powerful vibrations. Not higher vibrations, not lower vibrations, more powerful vibrations, right? Um, if you have a very powerful mind, whether it's a good or for good or evil, you will dominate weaker minds. And again, that's the will. That's mental transmutation. Think of, you mix any 2 energies together, and you're going to find a middle point. You put hot water and cold, right? The hot water is going to cool the cold, and the cold is going to, the hot water is going to heat the cold, and the cold is going to cool the hot. You're always going to have a mix. It's always going to find harmony between the two. But if you've got a fuck ton of hot water and just a little bit of cold water, you're going to end up with a fuck ton of hot water. And that's how minds work. And people do this every day. Children do it to their parents. Parents do it to their children. Bosses and employees and coworkers, and even for the good, right? Even when you want to meet someone on the bus and they're having a bad day, and you bring them up, you lift their spirits, right? You blast them with the good vibrations, and they walk away feeling fucking good, because we have these measurable electromagnetic fields that our heart generates that extend up to 15 feet away from people. And our bodies can read this information. Shit's proven. Fucking fact check that. Google it. Our bodies and brains and hearts pick up the surrounding electromagnetic fields of other people, and we influence them, and they influence us. So let that marinate. You know what I mean? It is along this principle that the results of many of the mental treatments are obtained. For instance, a person is quote unquote blue, melancholy, and full of fear. The mental scientist, bringing his own mind up to the desired vibration by his trained will, and thus obtaining the desired polarization in his own case, then produces a similar mental state in the other by induction. The result being that the vibrations are raised and the person polarizes toward the positive end of the scale instead of towards the negative. and his fear and other negative emotions are transmuted to courage and similar positive mental states. A little study will show you that these mental changes are nearly all along the line of polarization, the change being one of degree rather than one of kind, which is important to remember that it's degree and not kind, because again, you can raise the degree. Right? You can change 60 degrees to 61 degrees by just changing the environment, but you can't change 69 degrees to potato, without some fucking straight up sorcery, right? You're changing things of the same nature, kind to kind, degree to degree. Um, so when you're feeling fear, you know that you're on the same line as courage. All you gotta do is raise the bar up to courage. You're feeling hatred. Okay, I'm feeling hatred. This is not good, right? Or at least according to my own paradigm, my own goals, my own values. This is not good what I'm feeling right now. I need to slide that up, slide the hate to love. It's on the same scale. We just gotta carry on. A knowledge of the existence of this great hermetic principle will enable the student to better understand his own mental states and those of other people. He will see that these states are all matters of degree, and seeing thus, he will be able to raise or lower the vibration at will, to change his mental poles and thus be master of his mental states instead of being their servant and slave. Remember, we want to be the chess player, not the chess piece. And by his knowledge, he will be able to aid his fellows intelligently and by the appropriate methods change the polarity when the same is desirable. We advise all students to familiarize themselves with this principle of polarity, for a correct understanding of the same will throw light on many difficult subjects. End chapter 10. Oh, Charlene. Okay, sorry, I'm reading your guys' comments now, so might take me a while to catch up. Infinite Waters has no ads. Can I get a hello? There. Um, cool. Whoops. Hold on. Give me a second, you guys. Whoops. It takes me forever to send something because my goddamn screen's broken. Okay. Sweet. All right, you guys. Well, that was the end of chapter 10. Ay, chingao. Ay. That's so hot. I think about doing the next chapter actually, because that chapter was kind of short, and rhythm goes hand in hand, so it's nice to kind of have them both accessible to you at you know what I mean, side by side. Law of rhythm is try to be quick. Sorry, I know I talk a lot, but law of rhythm is basically you have the law of polarity, right? So opposites are the same. Hot and cold are the same. Happiness and sadness are the same. And the rhythm talks about how the energy of life will always flow from one pole to the other. Kind of how night always swings to day, high tide swings to low tide, courage changes to fear, fear changes to courage. The ups and downs of life. The rhythm, it's a rhythm, right? It's up and down. Like if you look at music, music's playing, you're bobbing your head, like what up and down, up and down, up and down. You're moving your head to the rhythm, to the swing of things. So we're just kind of learning about how to polarize yourself to one swing so that you don't get swept away, or how to notice the swing so that you can act appropriately. Like I said before, what makes more sense? Push someone on a swing when they're going down with the momentum, or push them when they're swinging back towards you. Right? So this is kind of the things, at least that I do with this law of rhythm, is kind of teaches you to acknowledge the swing and like, okay, is it time to push or is it time to pull? Right? That's just like the masculine, feminine type of thing. Masculine is projecting, and feminine is receptive. It's like, is it a time to receive right now, or is it time to push? Is it a time to dictate, or is it a time to listen? Right? You just got to. That's what it means to be conscious. To be conscious, to be aware, to be present, is to fucking know like the situation. Again, bring it to the macrocosm. You're having a conversation with someone, or say it turns into an argument, and they're fucking pissed and they're screaming at you, and you're screaming at them. It's going back and forth. It's like you can be swept away by your emotions, right? You can be swept away by the swing into anger, for example, or frustration. You can be swept away by the swing of that, or you can notice the swing of that. Go, okay, this is happening right now. This is good, or this is not good. The fuck am I going to do about this to make this a better situation? Like, what can I do? Where's the energy going? Do I need to push more? Do I need to listen more? Do I need to pull more? Like, what the fuck's going on? So that's the practical consciousness side of like spirituality and things like that. It's not necessarily, it's not all talking to fairies and shit, though that's awesome too. It's a very like day-to-day thing. I think it's Alan Watts said this, but I doubt he made it up. He probably got it from some monk, but he said the point is not trying to find God in peeling the potato. The point is to peel the potato, right? And that should speak volumes as far as your day-to-day life goes in like a religious or spiritual context. Yeah. Oh, Candy Mikowski. Bummed. Yeah, we Charlene McKenzie. Death, Life and Death. Yes. Like that old Biggie album. Doesn't he have an album called Life and Death? What up? Shout out to Biggie. Shout out to Biggie the Hermeticist. This goddamn phone screen's breaking my balls right now. Fucking sucks so bad. Come on. What about accidents? Candy Mikowski asks, what about accidents? When we get to the law of cause and effect, we will read a quote out of the Kybalion that says, chance chance is law to those who don't blow it. It's like Those who don't understand the law call it chance, basically. Those who don't understand cause and effect call it chance. In other words, what they're saying is there's no such thing as accidents. Nothing happens by mistake, in other words. Or at least not if you like look closely enough. But if you could be more specific with your question, Candy Mikowski, that would make things easier. You guys, I'm so stoked on this incense burner that I have in here. I feel official as fuck. It smells so good. It smells like a 11th century Syrian palace in here. I'm not fucking kidding. I'm not just saying that either. Like, this frankincense is amazing. So, you guys have any questions? Anything to add? Anything you think I should know? Did I go too fast? Did I go too slow? Should I elaborate? Am I over elaborating? You want to just get to the next chapter? Like Wagwan. You guys want to burn some more oregano? Guess I could just use my candle, right? All accidents are preventable. In theory, all accidents are preventable, but actually, no, absolutely, all accidents are absolutely preventable. Well, that's the thing. There's no such thing as accidents. So anything is preventable, but you got to realize we're talking about degrees of infiniteness. Right? We live in an infinite universe, so things can get infinitely complex. So you try and, an accident could be a hurricane. And back then, the people would say, "Oh, it's the gods." They got pissed off. We can't control the gods. They're, it's out of our control. But now, we probably could control Earth or hurricanes. Because we know now hurricanes are just pressure systems. A fucking gnarly ass low pressure system tears through a really hot area, picks up a lot of water, and just fucks shit up. So if it's a low pressure system, and we know the mechanics of low and high pressure systems, and we can reverse engineer these pressure systems, and we can change the pressure systems. It's already been done. I think it's the HAARP, HAARP, is just that. The British wrote or released papers like in the 60s or something like that, where they were able to manipulate the weather. Right, so rain on your wedding day could be an accident. But if you've got enough power and resources, you could stop rain from happening on your rain day. But again, like earthquakes and shit, I don't know. Can we stop an earthquake? Earthquakes might be accidents right now until we figure out what they are and how to reverse them. Charlie McKenzie. All right, let me get my coal ready, and then we'll. I sell the frankincense on my shop, the holders, the burning coals, the best frankincense resin you can get your hands on, Omani Boswellia sacra, the green hojari for the straight, what do you call them? Royalty frankincense. Shit costs like $130 a pound. Thanks for sharing the link for me there, John. I was gonna get the quick start coals, but they have a lot of added shit that's not very good for you. The only thing is I got the bougie ass coconut husk coals that burn clean as hell, but they take forever to ignite. Like I gotta throw a torch on these things to get going. And I don't have a torch. But give me another, I don't know, 60 seconds or so. Get this coal. I want to throw some dragon's blood on the fire this time. Ooh, or some white copal. I have copal resin. I have frankincense resin. I got dragon's blood resin. I got white sage resin. I got golden amber resin. I got pinyon pine resin. The hell else do I have? We're just resin. This room. You guys could only smell my room right now. I did a I did a past life reading down in Malibu in LA, and I was like almost like I was on a panel. There was 3 ladies there, and like they all sat in front of me, like blindfolded basically, and tapped into each other and myself and did a past life. And what they got was the first life they pulled up was a spice trader. I like would go like back in the day. I would go all around the world, the known world, the whole world. I don't know, just the world, and would collect spices from foods and with different cultures and take them around. Like that was all. Like I had no family apparently, no nothing. It was just my boat and whatever crew I could put together in the city. I would just dip out with all the spices in the world and bounce around from city to city. And and then next thing you know, I'm fucking buying all the resin from around the world from my Etsy shop. Like, how did you make this shit up? You kidding me? All right, I think this is just about done. Claudia, you got the Dream Blend? How many of you guys have the Dream Blend? We should all take it at the same time and blast off. Ood, no, I don't have any of that. Charlie and Mackenzie, none of that. Um, okay. All right, let me. All right, we're gonna do a trifecta combo, and then I'll start. I promise this time. We're gonna do a piece of white copal. Mayan white copal. Just a fat rock of dragon's blood. Gonna do some dragon's blood. And some frankincense. And then we will take a dose of the the dream spagyric, the ManofLettersOfficial dream spagyric. and then we'll continue our reading. Damn. Just 3 fire resins about to go on the coal right now. Okay. Cool. Damn, that white copal looks like glass. It's beautiful. Okay. So accident has no opposite, really? That's a good question. I've been trying to think of things that didn't have an opposite and I couldn't, but accident might be. An accident. Actually, so here's what I would say. We can see so that law that corresponds to accidents is where I was pulling that from, was the law of cause and effect. So the effect is the accident. So people would say, well, that was an accident. Well, no, that it wasn't an accident. It was the effect of something, right? A hurricane isn't an accident. A hurricane is the effect of pressure systems, which are an effect of solar radiation, which are an effect, or ocean currents, which are from an effect of solar radiation, which are an effect of like the Earth's magnetic core, which is an effect of a fucking star exploding, which was the effect of a star existing, which is an effect of a nebula, right? So everything is an effect. Everything is a cause, and everything is an effect. You know, the original cause, though, was the thought, was the thought that put us into existence. So yeah, the opposite of accident would be the cause, or at least my closest guess would be that. Oh yeah, wasn't I supposed to do something? Dream drops, we're hitting them. You're supposed to use them an hour before bed and right before bed, you guys. By the way, I don't know if I told you that. It's oh my god. Holy hopscotch, Batman. Some of these tinctures I swear are stronger than others. This one is exceptionally strong because I was getting used to the last bottle and this one is just not. I'm just not getting used to it. Oh Lord. Yeah, it's definitely quantum as fuck. My dad's over here sending me stickers and stuff. Okay. It's for fucking sure an acquired taste. Okay. Let me see how long chapter 11 is because I hate these long ass chapters. Damn, that burned fast as fuck. Come on now. We begin. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You guys didn't go anywhere. It's still the same damn video. Well, welcome to part 2 of the same video, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Keith. Fuck, I dropped the resin in the fire. You're a man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and a bit of entertainment and some dope ass vibes. What the fuck, man? Vibes are strong tonight. Happy to be here with y'all. Thanks. We're reading from the Kybalion, written by the 3 Initiates, 1908. Chapter 11, Law of Rhythm. Feel the rhythm. Feel the ride. Get on up. It's bobsled time. And we commence. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Also, another huge thing. Remember that rhythm always compensates. We'll get to that in a second. The great fifth hermetic principle. The great fifth hermetic principle. The principle of rhythm embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measured motion, a to and from movement, a flow and an inflow, swing forward and a swing backward, a pendulum like movement, a tide like ebb and flow, a high tide and low tide between the two poles manifest on the physical, mental, or spiritual planes. The principle of rhythm is closely connected with the principle of polarity described in the preceding chapter. Rhythm manifests between the two poles established by the principle of polarity. This does not mean, however, that the pendulum of rhythm swings to the extreme poles, for this rarely happens. In fact, it is difficult to establish the extreme polar opposites in the majority of cases, but the swing is ever toward first one pole and then the other. There is always an action and a reaction, an advance and a retreat, a rising and a sinking, manifested in all of the airs and phenomena of the universe. Suns, worlds, men, animals, plants, minerals, forces, energy, mind, and matter. Yes, even spirit manifests this principle. The principle manifests in the creation and destruction of worlds, in the rise and the fall of nations, in the life history of all things, and finally, in the mental states of man. Beginning with the manifestations of spirits, of the all, it will be noticed that there is ever the outpouring and the indrawing, the outbreathing and inbreathing of Brahm, as the Brahmins would word it. Universes are created and reach their extreme low point of materiality, and then begin in their upward swing. Suns spring into being, and then their height of power being reached, the process of retrogression begins. And after eons, they become dead masses of matter, awaiting another impulse which starts again their inner energies into activity, and a new solar life cycle begins. And thus it is with all worlds. They are born, grow, and die, only to be reborn again. And thus it is with all things of shape and form. They swing from action to reaction, from birth to death, from activity to inactivity, and then back again. Thus it is with all living things. They are born, grow, and die, and then they are reborn. So it is with all great movements, philosophies, creeds, fashions, governments, nations, and all else birth, growth, maturity, decadence, death, and then new birth. The swing of the pendulum is ever in evidence. Night follows day and day night. The pendulum swings from summer to winter and then back again. The corpuscles, atoms, molecules, and all masses of matter swing around the circle of their nature. There is no such thing as absolute rest or cessation from movement, and all movement partakes of rhythm. The principle is of universal application. It may be applied to any question or phenomena of any of the many places of life, planes of life. It may be applied to all phases of human activity. There is always the rhythmic swing from one pole to the other. The universal pendulum is ever in motion. The tides of life flow in and out according to law. The principle is well understood by modern science and is considered a universal law as applied to material things, but the Hermeticists carry the principle much further and know that its manifestations and influence extend to the mental activities of man, and that it accounts for the bewildering succession of moods, feelings, and other annoying and perplexing changes that we notice in ourselves. But the Hermeticists, by studying the operations of this principle, have learned to escape some of its activities by transmutation, mental transmutation, which we already went over. Um, Damn, I feel like I'm hotboxing myself with these resins. Ugh. Okay. Actually, you know what? Yes, you guys, you can neutralize the swing of the pendulum. You can't stop the swing. You neutralize its effects on you. You can't stop the pendulum, right? Because that would be like stopping one of the mechanisms of existence. And I'm sorry, my friends, but you don't have the power to do that. The all God is the only person that can stop the fucking foundations of existence. And you're not that thing. You're a part of it, an extension of it. It exists in you, but you are the finite version of it, not the infinite. The fleeting perspective, the fleeting aperture of the all is what you and I are. What was I going to do? Oh, kind of feeling some epic piano music in the background. So give me a second. I would like to. Let's see. What do we got going, Mel? Maybe one of my favorites is the emotional, epic piano stuff. Slow, emotional, slow. Um, I Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here. Bear with me. Yow. Okay. Fuck, that's on. Spooky ass candles are doing spooky ass things right now. What if you stop the swing of the pendulum? Then we all will fucking die. I don't know. We would dissolve. I think Thanos. I think that's what he did. Because we're watching the shit Thanos with the glove. I think. No, he didn't even stop the swing of the pendulum. I haven't seen Endgame, so don't fucking spoil it for me. But the bad guy won. Sometimes the bad guy wins. Guaranteed in the end game that the bad guy loses, right? Even Thanos couldn't escape the swing of the pendulum. No one can escape the swing, you guys. You're not ever not gonna be sad. You're not ever not gonna be hateful. You're never gonna not be anything. You will experience all things all the time. And the conscious tuning will decide what we exist in the most. Starwolf, you're barking up the wrong tree here. You're barking up. That's that's another trap. That's another trap of the spiritual world, is thinking that we somehow can be God and we're not God. You guys have said, like, when we call each other gods and goddesses, what up, goddess? Like, think of gods and goddesses as just extremely advanced entities. Like, think of Egypt, for example. I'm actually not that good with Egyptian gods. But think of Anubis, right? Anubis had his role that he was good at. Yeah, Thoth. What's Anubis good at? Of the dead. Thoth was the god of writing and magic, languages. Even these gods were limited. Thoth was good at what he was good at. Anubis was good at what he was good at. None of them had all infinite power, right? None of them. They were all limited by the laws of existence, not even the universe, because there's multiverse, right? And a multi-dimension of multiverse. So we will be so far advanced of ourselves today that humans seem like slime mold. Like, you look at a slime mold, a single celled, actually slime molds are multi-celled, but think of mold growing on your toilet. As far away from us as mold is how far we're going to be to ourselves one day. And that's just the way of things. But we can't actually break down these laws of vibration, for example. You can't just stop the movement of all things in existence everywhere. That's the mouse running around a wheel forever and dying at the same exact point that it started in. To attain that is useless. It's like Hamlet. I give this example all the time. It's like Hamlet trying to turn into Shakespeare. You and I are Hamlet to Shakespeare. So imagine Hamlet like trying to jump out of the page of the book and like, hey, I'm now Shakespeare. Like, no, he's a thought of Shakespeare. Contains Shakespeare in himself, but he can't jump out of the book and be Shakespeare and write. Hamlet can't write his own books in our world. You know what I mean? But we can do fucking pretty much nigh on infinite. Anything else. Anything else. You want to build a world? Build the world. You want to build a computer simulation? And then press the delete, like a computer simulation that's so real that the people have consciousness like you and I, and play God and delete that whole thing and put an end to that. You can do that, right? But again, you're going to be operating still within the mind of the all. You're just going to create your own world within you, which is a whole nother fucking can of worms. That's really fascinating. But yeah, I feel like I should continue this thing. There's a way to beat the swing. Yeah, that is terrifying, Anessa. That's like super terrifying. Okay, where did we go? Is anyone reading along? Where the hell did I leave off at? Okay, here we go. The Hermetic Masters long since discovered that while the principle of rhythm was invariable and ever in evidence in mental phenomena, there still were two planes of its manifestations so far as mental phenomena are concerned. They discovered that there were two general planes of consciousness, the lower and the higher, the understanding of which fact enabled them to rise to the higher plane and thus escape the swing of the rhythmic pendulum which manifested on the lower plane. In other words, the swing of the pendulum occurred on the unconscious plane and the consciousness was not affected. This they call the law of neutralization. Its operations consist in the raising of the ego above the vibrations of the unconscious plane of mental activity, so that the negative swing of the pendulum is not manifested in consciousness, and therefore they are not affected. I'm going to read that again because that was pretty important. This they call the law of neutralization. Its operations consist in the raising of the ego above the vibrations of the unconscious plane of mental activity, so that the negative swing of the pendulum is not manifested in consciousness, and therefore they are not affected by it. Excuse me. Does anyone have any questions on that? Because they pretty much just told you exactly how to beat the swing of the pendulum. So make sure you guys understand that. By raising the ego above the vibrations of the unconscious plane, and the ego here is not nothing I fucking hate about modern spirituality. Is like how much they hate on the ego. The ego is a lens. That's all it is. It's a lens given to you, created by you. I don't know. But what it is it's a lens. Like the lens that you guys are looking at me through, right? It's just a piece of glass that looks, and it's looking at me right now. The ego has a lens and it faces it towards me. We all have our own lens. Some are shaped differently, some are raised differently, so they look at different things, right? I can have a wide angle lens, I can have a telescope lens, all kinds of different lenses, infinite variation of lenses. That's all the ego is. It's just a lens. It's your point of finite consciousness, so that you can have your own individual perspective and experience of existence. That's all it is. The reason why it can be dark is because people associate with the lens, not realizing that the lens is only something you look through, not something you are. You are not your ego, you're just the thing that's looking through the ego, looking through the lens. And so what this talks about in the law of neutralization is raising your ego, raising your consciousness, raising your awareness out of the out of the unconscious, creating that awareness, creating that acute awareness. Like the example that I gave earlier, when you get in a fight with someone and your emotions get triggered and you're acting on pure emotion, you're swept away by the swing of the pendulum, right? And we know how raw and subconscious and unconscious emotions can be. They come out of nowhere, right? They seem to boil up from the depths of our soul, from the unconscious. And then they just tear through everything. Imagine someone who's angry, people that blow shit up and shoot things. That's like extreme anger or extreme jealousy or extreme something that dominates their actions unconsciously, right? Because a lot of times, sometimes we understand, but we not enough to fix it. But a lot of times we don't understand where the anger is coming from, how to fix the anger, how to adjust in the middle of a rageful fit, because what one should do is take their consciousness that's existing in the unconscious, that's existing in pure raw emotion, raise it above a little bit from the unconscious, above the swing of the pendulum, and your awareness is intact. Now you're able to see the unconscious, you're able to bear witness to the emotions, bear witness to the things going on. Your awareness is activated, and you can make a more reasonable decision while utilizing your emotions. Right? If you have anger, it's not a bad thing. Just because it's unconscious doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Anger is powerful. It's an incredibly powerful emotion. There's a ton of energy behind anger. But if you let it sweep you away, it's destructive. But if you harness it in, if you control the anger, or at least guide the anger to where you can't really control something with a lot of power, but you can guide the anger towards something useful, and use anger to create. You've now learned how to be a gangster ass fucking hermeticist by transmuting a negative into a positive, by seeing the anger, witnessing it, not being swept away by it, but directing it. Direct your anger towards being a better person. You're pissed off that someone said you couldn't make it. Fucking take that anger, don't bottle it up. Take it and let that shit spill out onto a business plan, one that you're going to stick by it. Let your anger wake you up in the morning. Let your anger stay up at night or go to bed early when you're supposed to get fucking rest and not party. Like, let these emotions work for you instead of against you, right? This is the law of rhythm. So noticing the swing and noticing, all right, do I need to be reactive? Do I need to be proactive? Do I need to be projecting? Do I need to be receiving? Right? What's going on? It's like you're fucking dancing. You're dancing, like you swing dancing. So you go in with your partner, and you go out with your partner, and you spin them around, and you fucking it's a dance. Life is a fuck. That's what rhythm is about, really. That's why rhythm is associated so much with dancing, because life is a dance. We're all fucking dancing, right? You want to be a good dancer, right? You don't want to be a shitty dancer, stepping on people's toes and shit. So, damn. Too many tangents, man. This fucking chapter's not very short. Okay, the importance of this will be appreciated by any thinking person who realizes that creatures of moods, feelings, and emotion, the majority of people are, and how little mastery of themselves they manifest. If you will stop and consider a moment, you will realize how much these swings of rhythm have affected you in your life. How a period of enthusiasm has been invariably followed by an opposite feeling and mood of depression. Likewise, your moods and periods of courage have been succeeded by equal moods of fear. And so it has ever been with the majority of persons. Tides of feeling have ever risen and fallen with them, but they have never suspected the cause or reason of the mental phenomena. An understanding of the workings of this principle will give one the key to the mastery of these rhythmic swings of feeling, and will enable him to know himself better and to avoid being carried away by the inflows and outflows. The will is superior to the conscious manifestations of this principle. Although the principle itself can never be destroyed, we may escape its effects, but the principle operates. Nevertheless, the pendulum ever swings, although we may escape being carried along with it. There are other features of the operation of this principle of rhythm, of which we wish to speak at this moment. There comes into its operations that which is known as the law of compensation. One of the definitions or meanings of the word compensate is to counterbalance. This is important. I know we're fucking getting lengthy here, but this is important. One of the definitions or meanings of the word compensate is to counterbalance, which is the sense in which the Hermeticists use the term. It is the law of compensation, to which the Kybalion refers when it says, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Sorry, guys, I'm feeling a bit taxed over here. It's been a long day. And I'm getting fucking tired. Fuck, I think resin keeps falling off the sides of the goddamn coal. Come on, you son of a bitch. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna do this. I'm getting pissed. Hey, success. What it do boo boo. Okay. The law of compensation. is that the swing in one direction determines the swing in the opposite direction, or to the opposite pole the one balances or counterbalances. On the physical plane, we see many examples of this law. The pendulum of the clock swings a certain distance to the right and then an equal distance to the left. The seasons balance each other in the same way. The tides follow the same law. And the same law is manifested in all the phenomena of rhythm. The pendulum with a short swing in one direction has but a short swing in the other direction, while the long swing to the right invariably means the long swing to the left. An object hurled upward to a certain height has an equal distance to traverse on its return. The force with which a projectile is sent upward a mile is reproduced when the projectile returns to the earth on its return journey. But the Hermeticists carry it still further. They teach that a man's mental states are subject to the same law. The man who enjoys keenly is subject to keen suffering, while he who feels little pain is capable of feeling little joy. The pig suffers but little mentally and enjoys but little. He is compensated. And on the other hand, there are other animals who enjoy keenly, but whose nervous organism and temperament cause them to suffer exquisite degrees of pain, and so it is with man. There are temperaments which permit of but low degree of enjoyment and equally low degrees of suffering, while there are others who permit the most intense enjoyment but also the most intense suffering. The rule is that the capacity for pain and pleasure in each individual are balanced. The law of compensation is in full operation here. But the Hermeticists go still further in this matter. They teach that before one is able to enjoy a certain degree of pleasure, he must have swung as far proportionately toward the other pole of feeling. They hold, however, that the negative is the precedent to the positive in this matter. That is to say, that in experiencing a certain degree of pleasure, it does not follow that he will pay up for it with a corresponding degree of pain. On the contrary, the pleasure is the rhythmic swing, according to the law of compensation. For a degree of pain previously experienced either in the present life or in a previous incarnation. This throws a new light on the problem of pain. That's interesting to know. That when it comes to the swings of the good and the bad swing, the good follows the bad, so not the other way around, which is useful if you're one of those people who wait for shit to collapse on you because everything's been going good. Everything's been going good for you because shit collapsed in the past. Get your fucking head out of your ass and see the sun. Yeah, sorry. Anywho, carrying on. The law of compensation plays an important part in the lives of men and women. It will be noticed that one generally pays the price of anything he possesses or lacks. If he has one thing, he lacks another. The balance is struck. No one can keep his penny and have the bit of cake at the same time. Everything has its pleasant and unpleasant sides. The things that one gains are always paid for by the things that one loses. The rich possess much that the poor lack. This is really interesting here, you guys. This is for those of you that complain about not being born rich, or complain about not winning the lottery, or complain about not having rich uncles or not having trust funds. Or this is for you guys right here. The rich possess much that the poor lack, while the poor often possess things that are beyond the reach of the rich. The millionaire may have the inclination toward feasting, and the wealth wherewith to secure all the dainties and luxuries of the table, while he lacks the appetite to enjoy. He envies the appetite and digestion of the laborer who lacks the wealth and inclinations of the millionaire, and who gets more pleasure from his plain food than the millionaire could obtain even if his appetite were not jaded, nor his digestion ruined. For the wants, habits, and inclinations differ, and so it is through life. The law of compensation is ever in operation, striving to balance and counterbalance, and always succeeding in time, even though several lives may be required for the return swing of the pendulum of rhythm. Um, cool. Returning to your guys' comments, we have finished it. Congratulations, you guys. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Max out that last bit of wine or burn that last piece of oregano that's been lying around. Yeah. I got super tired in that last part there. Super tired. Hope that stays, actually. Damn, sorry, checking in with you guys. Comments. If there's anything exceptionally pressing that you guys want me to answer, just type it again because a few comments. I don't have the super chat. I don't monetize my YouTube channel, so I don't have super chat. But yeah, every bit helps. Soul of sin. Is it just distracting your sadness or anger by going out and doing something that makes you happy? Ooh, that's a great fucking question, Soul of Sin. I actually write about it in my book. Yeah, it's I don't know if you missed it earlier, but I talked explicitly about having goals and definitions for success in very, very practical terms. Like, what is success for you? Right. So first, you have to find out what you want. Like, I don't know what I want. Well, fucking figure it out. What do you think you want? If someone put a gun to your head and said, "What do you want?" Go with that. You can always change what you want, right? It's okay to change what you want, but you gotta fucking be moving forward to something. So pick the best thing. Pick your best bet. What do you want? Okay. How are you gonna get it? Practically break this shit down step by step. I need to finish these 3 things every day to be successful. Whatever you want, you get to set the terms. They're your goals. You set the terms. 3 big things, 3 little things, 3 things on Monday, 2 things on a Tuesday, none on a Sunday. Like, you're making the rules. It's your fucking life. But you gotta have a thing that you want. And you gotta know what's good and what's bad. Right? And to answer your question, this is where it goes. Is going out and partying distracting yourself? How did you word that? You actually worded that really well. So is it distracting your sadness or anger by going out and doing something that makes you happy? The example I use in my book is going out drinking with the friends makes you happy. But is that in alignment with what you want? When you're 18 to 25, that might be what you want. That is your highest excitement. Leisure time. Carelessness, not carelessness, but carefree time with your friends and family. wonderful experiences of dancing downtown with drinks and fucking meeting cool ass people and having the best times of your life. Like, if that's your goal and that's your highest goal, then it's not a distraction. Um, but people change, right? Is your highest goal going out and partying? Your highest goal may be, okay, I want to buy a house, or I want to move out of my parents' house, or I have a child now, or I'm just bored with this lifestyle, or none of those things. You're happy, content, exactly where you are. Nothing's changed. You're just bored of what you've been doing. Okay, now you got to find out the new route. What's the new success? Um, if and here's where you have to like kind of take an honest stock of how you feel about the situation. You just got to be like, well, is partying an escape? Am I using partying as a way to run from something? Or am I using partying as a way to run towards something, towards my goals, towards my happiness? Or maybe I'm a fucking bar promoter and this is my job and this is how I make money. I have to do it. I don't know. Um, but you hold the answer to that, which is the good thing about me not knowing is that you know, not me. You have the answer. Um, just be asking yourself well, not just be asking yourself, set up your goal, set up the direction you want to go in and what you need to do to get there, and then just kind of take stock once a week. Am I doing shit towards what I want? Yes. Well, am I doing it more often than not? Yes. Then I'm successful. Am I doing it less often than not? Okay, then I'm not successful. It wasn't a good week. And it's as simple as that. Like, if at the end of every day you set 3 things that you got to do to hit your goal and you finish those 7 days in a row, you've had a good week. Do that 50 whatever times in a year, you've had a good year. Do that 20 years in a row, you've had 20 fucking solid years, and you'll probably be a millionaire or something stupid like that. It's hard. Not many people can do that. Myself included. I'm getting there. But yeah, hope that helped. Moving along. Ashira. Gaia, hello. Ashira, you just missed everything. New mic? No, I've always had this mic. I normally keep this microphone out of the picture. I just stepped in something wet. What the hell was that? Oh, water. Water is wet. Cause and effect. Hey, Elizabeth John, I'm not going to Don. I'm going to Westeros. I'm stopping by the blacksmith on the way. Gonna pick me up some Valerian steel, and I'm fucking mobbing to Westeros. Who's coming with me? The queen needs me, right? I need to be there. They need all the help they can get. I got to do this. I got to do it. Something I got to do. That's my goal. That's my aim. My direction in life is to head to Westeros with my Valerian steel and just start murking fools. And I just have to tack off 3 things a day to get me there. And so far I've been failing because Westeros doesn't really exist. But I'm trying to go in a lucid dream realm, maybe create my own world where it exists. And that's my best bet. That's all I got at the moment. Like Uhtred Jr., like Uhtred, son of Uhtred. I totally forgot about Uhtred, son of. I'm Uhtred, son of Uhtred. Cool. I think that's it. Hungry. Hungry as fuck. Is there anyone new in the room right now? Or is this all old cats? Just out of curiosity. I'm really curious how many new people are driven to the lives that I. Come on, you guys. Everyone hit the like button in the room right now. It's probably too late now. But I'm curious how many new people YouTube swings towards the lives. Because they get a shit ton of watch time. I wouldn't be surprised if this live has 2 days worth of watch time, straight 48 hours. I'm always curious about that. Yes, I know you do, Elizabeth John. You have the hots for every one of those warrior dudes. I can't remember what question I asked Cynthia. Oh, if they're new. That's right. What up, Cynthia? Nice. That's cool. I'm glad to see that there are new people in here. I'll be consider joining the squad for the next live. I might do it tomorrow night. Yeah, I might do another live tomorrow night and continue the Kybalion. Because we're almost done with it. Damn, I think I just heard the chupacabra outside. For John. I am Uhtred, son of Uhtred. I'm gonna be saying that all goddamn night now, thanks to you. Some friends become enemies, some enemies become friends. You know, I'm thinking about playing my own piano music behind the readings only. I don't know who's gonna move the phone screen for me while I'm playing the piano. Only if we could measure the time for each swing back prior to it happening. Yeah, that would definitely be useful. Man, it's fucking cold now. All the candles burning and no spell casting. Elizabeth John, I done been casting spells this whole goddamn time. I'm just a fucking spell master. What do you think this is for? I'm straight up casting shit 24 7. They ain't call me the man of letters for no goddamn reason, because I be spelling shit out all the time. All right? Crystal Perez. Oh, it's been a while since I've seen you. How you doing, Crystal? Um, Everyone say hello to Crystal. She's been here for actually quite some time now, I believe. But I know nothing, sir. You know nothing, Elizabeth John. um, Blood and fire with some crystals. Shit. I'm burning dragon's blood resin. I know that doesn't really count, but do I believe it is possible to manifest for a loved one? Um, um, I mean, technically anything's possible. So to answer your question, yes. Um, this might not be the answer you're hoping for, but um, I would say maybe drop the word manifest and substitute the word resonate. Um, like, can I resonate with my loved partner? And the reason why I like manifest instead of, why I like resonate instead of manifest is because manifesting sort of, other than your thoughts, leaves you out of the process. Whereas resonating is a wholesome approach. Um, First, you want to define your lover, right? Not just my lover, not just my soulmate, not just my twin flame, but like sort of put some effort into who your lover is. What do you want? What does it feel like? Right? Even if you don't have like he does this or he looks like that, what does it feel like? Like try to get as real as you can. Feel that shit on all levels. Like feel it in movies that you watch or in books that you read that you choose to read. Men that you hang around with, or men that you idealize, fantasize. Like, what is it all saying about yourself? Is it in alignment? Like take serious stock, take a certain amount of responsibility with it, and then fuck yeah, you can manifest this. In theory, you should be able to manifest the fuck out of that. It's I don't know if I use this um example a lot. I'm sorry, I know I beat a dead horse with these things, you guys, but it's like that's why I love the fucking hermetic philosophy so much. They're the nuts and bolts of everything, which is why we can apply it to everything to figure it out. The reason why I want to use resonate is because it means you start dancing, right? You demand that the world dances to your song. Like if sometimes in the weekends, I'll go downtown and play music on the streets. Not everyone stops and listens, but some people do because we resonated with each other. We vibrated. I played something that they liked. It stimulated them. It literally, the vibrational sounds rung out from the strings, hit their eardrums rattled. That rattling made a sound. Their brain interpreted that sound, which is all vibrations from start to finish, and motivated that person to move. It's stimulated, right? It's a stimulation, not a manifestation, not a attraction, a lot of attraction thing. It's a stimulation. It's an evoking, and that's what you're doing. You got to write your fucking song, and you got to sing it loud and clear to make sure that the song is yours. Make sure that the song wasn't written for you. And if it was written for you, make sure that you like how it was written. Um, and then sing it for the fucking world to hear. And your lover is bound to hear. eventually. I mean, fuck, I don't know how long it might. Let's hope it doesn't take lifetimes, but it could take lifetimes. I don't know this shit, right? I don't know the time scale. What is time? Fucking time is infinite. Our existence bounces from lifetime to lifetime. So the scale, I don't know. Good luck. But everyone, I feel like it's soon for everyone. Just think about a radio signal. The bigger the tower of the radio signal, the bigger the tower, the further the signal goes. Just put more power behind it, and you can listen further away. Emotions go the same way. That's why emotions actually are so important, because they're powerful. They're the most energetic thing we have at our disposal is our emotions, which is why it's really important to not get locked into your emotions, because your emotions are terribly fleeting. They tend to represent extremes more often than not. Like, you just get crazy angry right out of nowhere, like you just 0 to 100, or like get super sad, or you super happy, like you see someone you love and like, oh my god, it just was 0 to 100 excitement. But if we, and these emotions, almost like boosting that radio tower, we're amplifying it. We're amplifying a frequency, makes it go further. Like when you have I plug my piano into an amplifier, right? I'm just sticking more juice behind the piano, so that the same frequency, I'm not changing the frequency, I'm not changing the vibration, I'm just increasing it. We do that with our emotions. So if you're trying to find a lover, use those emotions. I don't know how exactly. I guess that's up for you. That's where imagination and creativity comes in. Just imagine, what does it feel like to you to boost your emotions? Does it mean reading your favorite books, or listening to your favorite music, or watching your favorite movies, or going on walks, or like being around friends and family? I don't know. I feel like for each person it's different. For each person it's definitely different. So a lot of this is just guidance, and you kind of playing in the space between, to come up with something cool that's reasonable to you. But I hope that helps. My love candles were designed for love making, not love attracting. I mean, you can buy my candles for attracting lovers. Candles are actually a really good way. It's oh my god, that burned straight through. Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. Oh, never mind, we're good. That's crazy. The candle burned like a cavern out of itself. The hell was I saying? Oh, candles are good for microcosm type shit. What I gave you the explanation of was a macrocosm. That's like, how do you operate on a grand scale of things? Candles are like the day to day. If you're going to meditate, or say you, because candles burn so long, that's why they're so good for rituals. Because say you want to like attract money, right? The candle itself isn't necessarily attracting the money. On a certain level it is, but it's the what's the word? It's the correspondence between your mind and the candle that's really doing the magic. So if you have 10 green candles, with scents associated to prosperity and money, and they're all green, so it reminds you of money, or they're all gold, so it reminds you of money, and they have herbs on them like sunflowers and whatever the fuck the other abundance herbs are, I'm not even sure. You have 10 of them, and you burn them for the next month, 2 months, Every time you see that flame, every time you smell that scent, every time you see that color, is a reinforcement of your mind. And your mind is the tower, is the broadcasting tower, right? So the more you can reinforce your mind, the more voltage, the more amplification you give to your thoughts. Um, Candles, meditation, burning resin and incense, listening to certain music. Um, Basically, the name of the game is the more you can involve yourself in a process, the more powerful the process is. That's what I feel like is often understated in the world of sorcery and whatnot. That the robes, the candles, the chanting, the smoke and smells and feels and the sights, like all this, if you can get every sense engaged, then you're your full consciousness and awareness dialed in on something. It's like taking a magnifying glass and putting it on a blade of grass. You know, if your magnifying glass is a foot across, you've taken 12 inches diameter of sunlight, concentrated it into the size of a pinhead, and directed it on a blade of grass. You'll burn a hole in a matter of seconds through the grass because you've concentrated the energy, the awareness. Um, Candles do that very fucking well. There's something about fire. You know, you look at fire, you get lost. Me, I look at fire, I get lost in it. Like immediately get sucked into that sort of mind frame. Smells, of course. Like you can, I can smell things sometimes where it reminds me of one particular day of childhood when I was like 6. No other ties other than that single day, and it still takes me back. 25 years later, shit's crazy. So it's powerful. Like, yeah, rituals are powerful because it's involving your mind, and your mind is fucking powerful. So, um, yeah, my love candles. That's funny you mentioned that because the rose oil that I paid $200 for 5 milliliters of, actually, I got 10% off because I gave them my email. So I paid like $190 after shipping and tax for the 5 milliliters of rose oil that I'm going to be using for the love candles. I'm going to go get rose petals, probably maybe no, not lavender, rose petals, probably some hummingbird sage petals, and sprinkle it and then dress the candle with pure 100% therapeutic grade rose oil. One of the highest vibrations of any essential oil you can get, and 100 pounds of rose petals makes 1 pound of rose oil. That's why it costs an absolute fortune. But I have thought. Honey jar, that guy. The yellow's for kinky stuff. What herbs should I use for kinkiness? There's gotta be some kinky herbs we can use. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I know sandalwood is good for libido. Maybe I'll buy some sandalwood oil and sprinkle it on the yellow candles for kinky ass love making. Glad I could help, Crystal. Glad I could help. Creep. So I creep. Yeah. Just keep it on the down low. Cause nobody is supposed to know. Whoa. So I creep. Damn, this is a long ass live. We're gonna tap it, you guys. We're calling it. We're calling it. But thanks for joining. Thanks for tapping in. thanks for supporting the channel. If you guys want to keep supporting the channel, share the videos if they're worth sharing. This channel is powered by my Etsy shop. So if you guys want to check out my Etsy shop, I have tons of fucking goodies. I have ritual candles. The love making ones are coming out tomorrow with rose oil on it. They're going to be beautiful looking things. I got different oils and resins to burn and candles and fucking essential oils and hydra. I made a dope ass hair essential oil. It's got white sage. I fucking distilled white sage blossoms today, and it smells phenomenal. Those are already up on the Etsy. So also my Patreon is there. I feel like if everyone donated $1 to my Patreon, I get like on average 300 views from 300 dedicated. There's $1 a pop. I'd be able to. I don't know what would I do with extra $300 a month. I don't know. Not live here. Maybe I'd find a doper place up in the mountains or something like that. But I don't know. Either way, thanks for the love, you guys. You guys have been killing it, holding down the fam. Means a lot. Helps a lot. And yeah, it's looking like tomorrow. Yeah, I don't have. Thank God, I don't have work tomorrow. So yeah, thanks, you guys. Any last words? What up, Minx? Soul of Sin, thanks for sticking around. Yoy, yoy, what up? Construction is the majority of my money making. Yeah, the majority of my money making comes from construction work. I've been making pretty decent money on my Etsy. Yeah, my Etsy's been killing it. But I'm actually not taking. I haven't taken any money from the Etsy. It's just I'm putting all the money back into itself, so that it can just grow as fast and as it possibly can. Because um, definitely not trying to work construction for a long ass time. I would like to be chilling, creating shit all day long. Cool. All right, you guys. Thanks for being here. Love y'all. Talk to you soon. Shoot me a message or something if you have any questions. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, all that shit. Yeah. Thanks. Peace out. It's been brought to my attention that the live is still running. What up? It's me again. Not the first time this has happened. What up, John Smith? It's so funny that there's 8 people in the room that just kicked in. y'all the real MVPs. That's all I gotta say. It's going off this time, guys. I'll see you soon. Buenas noches.